Okay, I've got a couple questions here from people who are on here. Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate you. Let me see. CEO says, how valuable are the clearances, or their different levels of clearances? Which ones can help you in the private sector to get you a job and a good position? That's actually a good question. You know why people are asking these clearance questions? Because clearance questions, and this will answer your question, CEO, too. Clearances get you more money and jobs, and it thins out the herd. So why do you want a clearance, and which ones are the most valuable ones? Obviously, the higher the clearance, the more valuable it is. And just to give you an example of how valuable some of these clearances are, a TS clearance, a top secret clearance, costs a lot of money for a company to actually do for you. So for them to shell out the money that it takes, the thousands of dollars that it takes to get you that clearance, you have to have your skill set has to be very valuable to them. I hope that makes sense. So to answer your question, the higher the clearance, the more valuable it is. And if you already have a clearance, they're willing to overlook some skill sets you might not have, because they'll have to think, well, this guy doesn't have a CISSP, he has a security plus, okay, but the position requires a CISSP, but he does have a top secret poly. And it's hard to find people with a top secret with a polygraph. And what that means, by the way, top secret is one level, but then top secret has all these other levels to it, like these other little levels. And one of them is called poly. That means he took a polygraph. It's super hard. I've never done it before, but a friend of mine told me about it. And he said, and I don't know how much I could talk about it, but basically, it's just a lie detector test, and they ask you all these weird-ass questions. And it's a pain in the ass, and a lot of people don't even want to go through with it. And it seems to attract a certain kind of people. I don't know. I really don't want to get involved with that world anymore, to be honest with you. I'm so done with that BS. I guess why I'm so frustrated with it is because if you have a clearance that's that high, you got to be in what's called a secret compartmentalized facility. There's no windows there. You have to go through 4 or 5 levels of security into some building. It's just a pain in the ass, and it's very restrictive, and then they want to know parts of your life and stuff. It's like, dude, I just want to make money. I'm not trying to be a part of this crap, So yeah, it's more valuable. You're gonna get paid more, to have that clearance and to be working in these secret environments and stuff like that. Is it worth it? Is what you got to ask yourself. But let me see if I'm answering your question here. It says, how valuable is the clearance? It's pretty valuable depending on the level, top secret being the highest one. Public trust, which can help you in the private sector. In the private sector, okay, that's a good addition to this question. So in the private sector does require clearances. So private sector being like your Lockheed Martin, your SAIC, or name some Mantech, whatever, small companies. They require them because a lot of them are getting the contracts from the U.S. government. So they have to have people who have these clearances. And normally those companies are the ones who are looking for people to already have the clearance. So it's very valuable to have it and it depends on the industry. Like obviously if you're working for Facebook or if you're working for, I don't know, Amazon or something, and you're an IT guy, they're not normally going to want a clearance. And now I did see a couple of Amazon jobs where they're working with government on cloud or something, and they did require a clearance. But, for most of their jobs are not clearance based. But so it depends on the industry that they're in. So for example, if it's a giant contracting agency or company, they're typically going to look for people who already have a clearance. Like if it's a contracting, staffing company, that meaning they don't have the skill set on hand. They find people with the skill set, they win the contracts, and then they get you who already has a clearance, and then they put you in this position, and then they have the money from NSA or whoever, and then they pay you a portion of that money, so they're looking for people with the clearance already. So it depends on, the answer to your question, it depends on the type of industry that they're in. Like if they're getting contracts for the government, then that's when they're going to want a clearance.